What's up, ladies and gentlemen? Universal Mastery. What I do here is I break down the occult sciences to a very practical level so that you can use them and apply them in your day-to-day life and get real, actual results. Now, what I'm going to be doing in today's video is breaking down a series that I have that is ongoing where I break down the Ars Goetia demons, okay? So the specific demon that I am going to break down in today's video so that you can understand and potentially gain everything you need to know to work with this spirit goes by the name of Asteroth, which happens to be a very known and a very popular spirit that I'm sure a lot of people are going to want to gain a little bit of knowledge about. This is also a special spirit because this spirit is also connected to the Qliphoth, which is the darker side of Kabbalah. Okay, this is and I'll actually go into that in a little, within this video. So just to give you a little bit of clarity on who I am, my name is Jeremiah Schwartz. What I do is, once again, break down the occult sciences. I am a professional occultist. I am fully initiated in Kabbalah, and I'm studied with the tarot, and I'm also studied with astrology. So that's just to give you a little bit of a context on who I am and who you're getting this information from. Okay? So without further ado, if you want to know a little bit more about Asteroth, then stay tuned for the rest of the video. Okay, so let's jump right into it. So I'm going to start just reading off the attributations. Here we go. All right. So Asteroth can help you figure out what you really want to do with your life. Asteroth can give you practical solutions and insight to your complex problems. Asteroth is a spirit of creativity and can help you unleash your creative side onto the world shamelessly. Asteroth can tell the future, show you the present and the past. She can make you have prophetic dreams or visions about the future and gives insights into the unknown. Asteroth is great for asking advice. Asteroth is said to be the female spirit of Astarte, a goddess of love, war, and fertility. She obtains friendships of those in power and is a goddess of luxury and ease, great for beginners. Okay? Now, obviously, with that being read, you can understand why a lot of people want to work with Asteroth. Okay? Now, here we go. So the level is going to be beginner to advanced. The tarot is going to be the Three of Pentacles. The planet is Venus. The metal is copper, the element is earth, the color is green, the plant is laurel, the incense is sandalwood, the zodiac is Capricorn, and here is the end to channel Asteroth. It is Tassa Alora Foren Astaroth. Tassa Aloren Foren Astaroth. Tassa Alora Foren Astaroth. Okay, so that is the end right there. And if you are psychically sensitive, then you're able to channel this spirit right now just by watching this video. And that's another big reason why I go into all this depth when I'm, covering the Ars Goetia all the way down to reading off the end so that I can get these spiritual energies moving through the internet, because the internet is definitely the new age of occult science. Okay, it already is, but it's going to be, people are going to start understanding that the internet is going to be one of the most powerful forms of performing occult ritual, and just one of the most powerful forms of utilizing occult sciences. Okay, but I'll make a whole video on that another time. But okay, so just to give you a little bit of a personal experience I've had with Asteroth. So I came across Asteroth specifically when I was working through, specifically when I was working through the Qliphoth. Now, personally, I didn't do any invocations of Asteroth specifically that I'm aware of. I may have at the very beginning of my Qliphothic initiations, but if I did, it was very brief, and it was just to open up the sphere of Gog Shablah, which is the sphere that is associated with Asteroth. So yeah, so I don't have my a personal in-depth experience with Astaroth, but what I can tell you is that I did experience Astaroth's spirit and the energies. Once, I studied a little bit about Astaroth when I was going through my initiations. So pretty much at the time, I was a manager. I was in a manager position for a job, and it's so funny because the position I was in was on one end very stressful. I was working on South Beach, Miami, and I was a beach manager. So I had a whole property that I had to take care of for some very high-end hotels. And I had a team that I was managing. So if you're aware, on the beach, there's tons of chairs, there's beds, there's umbrellas. That's what we were in charge of. And in Miami, there's tropical weather. So when a storm comes, which happens almost every day, and it lasts about like 20 minutes at the most, they'll come in, and when I see a storm come in, I have to have my team go and shut umbrellas because the bottom of these umbrellas are very sharp. They're like spears. And there's more people that die a year from getting stabbed by umbrellas that fly in the air and then come shooting down than there is with lightning strikes and shark attacks put together in Miami. So there's a lot of people that actually die a year from these umbrellas flying up in the air and coming down. So I would have to have my team go and close them. And obviously when you're dealing with the public, when you're dealing with the masses, and someone pays money for an umbrella and they're like, hey, I just paid for this, I want it open, and then we see a storm coming, I have to say, hey, team, I need you guys to close all these umbrellas and I need them closed ASAP. So you can understand how that could get a little bit chaotic when you have people that had just paid for the umbrellas that are like, hey, but I just paid for this. No, you're not going to close it. Well, you have to explain to them, look, this could potentially kill somebody. I need to close it. We'll open it up right when the storm passes, things of that nature. So long story short, the job that I was working was very chaotic, very stressful. It was literally, and I would say this literally, like when I was working there, this was back in the end year of 2019, I would literally say that it was like going to war every single day. But thankfully, because I work with the Qliphoth and I work with the darker side of evolution, and I am a vampire, which means I exist in Universe A, so I devour chaos and turn it into power for me, turn it into evolution for me. Astarte was on my side, which means Astarte, that energy current, this spirit was working for me and working with me, just like a bunch of other spirits, and I don't need to go into detail with that, but. So although I was in a stressful, chaotic, intense situation every day, my property always nailed it. Like, we killed it every single day. We were actually known as being one of the, wherever I was managing, we were known as being one of the best properties and one of the most looked at because we were so good at what we did. And it was just all because of, on one end, I was going through my initiation through Gog Shabla. If you know about the Qliphoth, that's one of the, that is the seventh sphere of the Qliphoth, that is ruled by the spirit Asteroth. But yeah, that was on one end, and then the other end, I'm gaining power from that sphere, and which means I'm also gaining power from the spirit Asteroth that rules that sphere. So that's why I was doing so well. And from the very beginning of this video, if you went down through the description that I read about Asteroth, you would understand that that whole entire description is what I was able to receive when I was being influenced by this spirit being Asteroth. So it's, that's what happens when you work with these Ars Goetia, or if you're working with Qliphothic spirits that rule spheres, which are a little bit more powerful than your average Ars Goetic demon. There is hierarchies to it. Like, there's some Ars Goetia that are more powerful than others. And it would take a long time to really nail, how exactly how that exact hierarchy would look like. But what I definitely can tell is that the Qliphoth, the spirits that rule Qliphothic spheres are definitely more powerful than the average just Ars Goetic demons that exist, whether it's in the tunnels of Set or just somewhere in Universe B. So that's what that is. But yeah, that was my experience. I personally would recommend this spirit. I think you can gain a lot from it, especially if you're looking to be more of a leader, if you're wanting to learn, once again, how to be a better leader, what it takes to be warrior spirit. I think that would be an amazing reason to work with Astaroth. Yeah, I would totally recommend working with Astaroth for that reason, how to have more of a warrior spirit. That's very essential and very powerful to have while you're going through your stages of spiritual self-development. You need that warrior spirit. You need to understand that when you're facing chaos, you need to understand that chaos is meant for your evolution. And when you face it, you're facing it to essentially devour it and then turn it into more evolutionary energy for yourself. Okay, that's what the warrior spirit is all about. It's about being ready, willing, and able to always go to war. But most importantly, it's the more you understand the warrior spirit and the more you integrate it and the more you have those fiery experiences and those challenges, you understand that peace is really the art of the warrior, where you're not looking for war, but you're always ready, willing, and able to go to war. So you always are looking to your environment to analyze it and understand it, and you don't want to stand out too much to start any conflicts that are unnecessary, because that would be an unnecessary waste of energy. But if something does present a challenge to you, or someone does come across your path and cross boundaries, you are ready, willing, and able to devour them, take their energy, and turn it into your own personal power that moves you further into your own evolution in connection with Source as well, and things of that nature. So yeah, so I'm gonna leave it there. I think that covers it. Yeah, so if you enjoyed this video, hit the thumbs up. Also hit the notification bell. I post videos as often as I can, and you don't want to miss out on this Ars Goetia series. That's a fact. And I cover very advanced information on my channel, so you could definitely get a lot of value from that. Definitely hit the subscribe button. I love to see my subscribers go through the roof. Helps build my channel as well, helps get my channel out there. And if you want to learn how to do an invocation where you're literally channeling these spirits, being these demons, or whatever spirit it is that you're wanting to connect with, that is what I would recommend, is learning how to do an invocation, which means taking an external spirit, calling it into your own energy field, and absorbing its power. So you're pretty much integrating and alchemizing that own spiritual intelligence's power within yourself. So if you go in the description, you're going to see a link at the top. It says My Patreon right next to it. On my Patreon, I have exclusive content that is not on my YouTube, that is only for my Patreon members, and I have a video on there that teaches you exactly how to do an invocation, where I perform it on camera, and then I teach you how to do it yourself, so that you know exactly what's going on, you know exactly the technique and how to do it, so that if you have the right intention and you're consistent, you will get success. Okay, so what invocation can do for you is that increases your psychic power, because once again, you're using ancient and specific techniques to channel a spirit, an external spiritual intelligence into your own energetic field to take on its power. So that increases your psychic power. It increases your psychic protection. So as you increase your life force, or as you increase your power, that also correlates to your own protective energies, meaning things can't mess with you the same way, because the more knowledge you have, the more power you have. The more power you have, the more protected you are, because your intention is focused on wanting to, you know, be safe and make sure that external forces can't fuck with you. So it increases your psychic protection, and it increases your psychic influence, just in general, to be able to really communicate with spiritual energies, or to understand how they move in your day-to-day life. You know, all this really stems from increasing your energy, increasing your life force, and that's exactly what can happen when you start working with these spirits, taking on their powers. And there is a whole transformative property that goes behind it as well, that is directly connected to occult initiation. Okay, so I'm gonna leave that there. So there's other videos on there as well, educational entertainment, where the video is entertaining, but it's also educational at the same time. You're getting a lot of value from it. Okay, you can just pop your headphones on, go about your day, listen to the videos, and you're gaining a lot of knowledge. Okay, just absorbing it all. So I have videos like that. If you're interested in Kabbalah, I would highly recommend joining my Patreon, because on my Patreon, I break down Kabbalah in a way that probably most people don't on camera. What I do is I cover all of the Sephirothic spheres, which is the tree of life, and then I cover all of the Cliffothic spheres, which is the tree of death, giving you all the attributations and symbolism of the spheres, all the way down to the spirits that rule the spheres. And then on top of that, once I'm done with that, I give you the breakdown of my own personal experience having worked through those spheres myself, which I think is gold. I think that's extremely valuable for someone who's wanting to learn a little bit more about how Kabbalah works and potentially figure out where you're located in your own spiritual self-development if you're gifted enough to do that. So that's all on my Patreon. Once again, that's the first link in the top of the description. In order to gain access to this exclusive content, you have to at least be a tier 2 member or up. In order to be a tier 2, it costs $9.95 a month, and that is literally, if you do the math, less than $1 a day. So there is absolutely no reason why you shouldn't be able to afford that, especially with the value that I have on there, and that is an absolute promise from me to you. Okay, so there's 4 tiers altogether. As you go up in tiers, the benefits increase as well. So with that being said, I would love to give a special shout out to the highest tier members of the Patreon. I have their names written down below that first Patreon link. So huge shout out to you, ladies and gentlemen. Your support does not go unnoticed. Also, I would love to give a special shout out to all of my Patreon members. I appreciate you all. And then another shout out to all my YouTube followers and subscribers. I appreciate you as well. Okay. Now, if you would like to book a tarot reading with me, you can find the link for that at the second link in this description. It says square appointments right there. Basically, the way I do my tarot reading is I do a present, near future, long-term future card breakdown. And what I do is I break down all the symbolism from the card. I break it down in a very subjective way. So it's not just me giving you a regular traditional reading. You're getting a spirit reading from me, which means my spirit is telling me information that I need to know about you, and I will share that information with you unsugar-coated. I'll give it to you exactly how my spirit tells me to say it to you. So it's a very authentic reading. And also, because I'm fully initiated and studied in Kabbalah, I can also break down the cards to a degree where I can literally locate where you are in your current self-development evolutionary journey in regards to the Kabbalah tree of life. I can figure out exactly where you're located because the cards tell me that. There are Hebrew letters on the cards that can show me which pathway you're working through. So that's that. And it's funny because so far every reading I've done, I've been able to locate where everyone's at. You could say, like, hypothetically, maybe not everyone is on the journey, but it just happens to be that people that book with me are on their journey. So it's that same, as within, as without. So people that tend to book appointments with me to want to figure out where they're located on their journey tend to be somewhere in their journey. So what I'm saying is I don't get people that book sessions with me that haven't begun their journey. It's so funny. So for every person I've done so far, I've been literally able to point to them and show them exactly where they're located at in their own spiritual evolutionary journey in regards to Kabbalah, which is very powerful if you can understand the system and figure out what to expect next and where you're headed. Okay, so the way I do the reading is I do it alone. I do it by myself. That's how I prefer it, to fully get in my zone. And then once I finish it, I take my phone and I record a video of me breaking down the entire reading. So then I send it to you once I'm finished, and you get your own personalized video that is a minimum of 30 minutes long. It could be a little bit longer. And once again, I break it down as in depth as I possibly can, and I send it to you. So if that's something you're interested in, then definitely go to the second link below. That's where you're going to be able to book that. Okay? Now, other than that, that's going to wrap it up. I will see you, ladies and gentlemen, on my next video. So I hope you have a wonderful rest of the day or night wherever you are. Peace.